Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hey everybody, how y'all doing? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you. Wherever you are, whatever time it is when you listen to this. Welcome to my fifth degree page. I'm fifth degree, but you could call me fifth. Okay, so I'm gonna do this reading real quick. Hopefully this helps you guys out just a little bit. I don't know how long it'll be. How long this reading gonna be? I got a few different decks out. Um, some of the basically it's gonna be about it could be in a 9 year. It's because it's a 9 year. Everything it is that would have gone on in regards to a lot of different things. Within it being a 9 year, it'll be about what would all of the different types of endings or cycles that would be coming to a close. Cycles of behavior, cycles of everything. Right. I feel preempted to talk about a couple different things. One of the things it'll be about pay attention to what it is that would have taken place when you would have been 9 years old. Pay attention to what it is that would have taken place when you were 7 years old. Some of the less common talked about situations, right, that come into place with those particular numbers, right? Seven, a lot of people like to look at seven as a number of completion, which is a direct contradiction of nine being a number of completion, right? 3, 7, and 9. All three of these are considered prime numbers, and they're also odd numbers, right? Um, at the age of 9, that's right before you hit the double digits, right? The age of 7 is right when you're not really, yes, when you start getting responsibilities and shit like that, right? Um, but 7, right? That's a feeling. It's when you start feeling that things would be going in a particular way, but by 9, by the time you get to the 9, that's when you know exactly what it is that will be going on. So a lot of times you'll know who you are or whatever will be going on by the age of 9. You just got to make sure uh, you stick to it. That's part of the reason why when we're in school, right? Like I know today is Sunday, right? Sunday or sun, enlightenment, however it is you want to look at it. I know that today is Sunday, but it's also in accordance with if you pay attention to what would have happened throughout the week, right? The emotions on Monday, then on Tuesday it'll be about whatever work or what it is that you would either set yourself apart with, either you would set yourself apart with, or you would feel there's competition in. Then Wednesday, it'll be about the communications. Then Thursday, it'll be about the higher knowing. Then Friday, it'll be about, the love of completion, which also makes a lot of sense within what it is you will have going on in like your work schedule, right? Paying attention to what goes on in your work schedule, okay? That's pretty much the reason why a lot of times people put in a lot of effort Monday through Thursday. So by the time Friday come along, they ain't really got a lot to do, which is contradictory for employers because they want you to give 100% every day. And the reality is, if you're getting additional work, right? If you as an individual are getting additional work put on you from the lack of someone else putting in their 100%, that can definitely cause issues. I'm just using work in that regard as a primary example because at some point or another, every person has had uh, some sort of job it is that they would need to do, even if you're an entrepreneur, right? Whether it be paperwork or it don't matter what it is, for real. But yeah, so just paying those things some attention. The other thing is making certain uh, that within the enlightenment of different things, right? Paying attention to what you would have done in the past, That's always really important to pay attention to what it is you would have done in the past. One of the things it was that was coming to me based out of what it is that's being been conveyed back to me uh, through some of the readers it is that I watch. I did. I just heard her say whatever it is you got to my. I was the person that they would have done some deep dark shit on, and it would have been unnecessarily so because they would have been indecisive. It's that part. The other portion of it is I've noticed that people keep getting things mixed up from years before. It's like, so I typically, that's another reason why I keep, and I'm more likely going to keep doing it, even past, yeah, when I get the opportunity to, even past now, because we're in 2025. And within it being a 9 year, whatever it is that you bring into this year, it solidifies what it is you want to end, what you don't want to deal with no more, and everything, right? Yeah, what you don't want to deal with, how you want to continue on, and it will continue in what type of behaviors you want to continue to come into fruition, right? Or it'll be setting the intentions for the next 10 years. It will, it will. And one of the things it was that was really calling out to me a whole lot. I heard you getting downloads too now, aren't you? I am getting downloads too. I'm getting a whole lot of them. Getting a whole lot of them. One of the things is it'll be about how a person, her talk about twin flame shit too. I guess one of the things it is. No, y'all know that it's not even a touchy subject with me. It's more so a matter of the manipulations that have come into place over the years with twin flame, what constitutes quote unquote twin flames. Twin flames is now a slang term that's been utilized. You know what I'm saying? To identify somebody that you have a deep connection with. And it's one of those, that's not what that is. If you don't have any true knowledge or you're not acting in it at this point, yeah, by this point, if you not acting in it, then you can go ahead and just call that shit a day. The other portion of it is that I noticed um, something that's coming to me now, right? Uh, that would be indicative. Yeah, I remember going to the Project Pat concert, right? It was supposed to be a free concert, and within me going to the Project Pat concert, one of the things that took place was it was somebody who had, yeah, it was a couple people that were actually there, but it was one person who found me in line. They found me in the line and they came and they took a picture with me. Now, whoever else was there, if they cut the line and they knew that I would have been able to get in sooner, they didn't look out for you. No, they didn't look out for me. They didn't look out for me. Motherfucker, you can't be mad because you didn't look out for me. That's one of the crazy portions. That's why I don't really like talking about the twin flame shit because they would put that under twin flame paradigm, and within it being under the twin flame paradigm, there are a few different sub areas that come into place with the twin flame dynamic. Part of it, of course, would be false twins. The other part of it would be uh, karmic. Right now, in the karmic essence, all karma ain't bad karma. That typically be the part, yeah, the way that you interact with it and what you do with knowing your purpose and knowing your life and all this determines whether a person is of good karma or of bad karma. Right now, it's very easy to turn a person of good karma into a person of bad karma based out of the way that you would treat them or have a situation going into places. So just being mindful of that. The other thing is something that's kind of coming to me is what it is that would have taken place with person it was. Yeah, because while I was journeying a lot of stuff over these past few years, I had the understanding, right, that a person that I would have been around was supposed to assist me with better understanding how certain essences work, right? And within the cancer essence, right? I was staying with a cancer, and the reality of it was, I listened to all of her concerns, and I had even offered her, um, well, not offered her, I had, yeah, she said she wanted another reading, and I made myself available for the reading, but she intentionally made herself unavailable. And she would stay on the phone with whoever, and then she, yeah, one minute she'd be all super happy with me being around, and then the next minute, yeah, I was like the worst fucking thing ever, and I was like, oh my god. And whenever I would be playing like love songs and all this other shit, it was when I was working in Frable Elementary. But whenever I was playing like love songs and stuff, yeah, because the cancer essence ultimately is going to show up with what it is that you would have nurtured. And while I'm playing love songs and all this other stuff, she texts me, um, yeah, really angry about something, and I was like, okay, but I cleaned it up, and before I left, and yeah, I had did a whole bunch of shit, and she just needed somebody to be a punching bag, not to bounce ideas off of, uh, not to, you know, get clarity or anything. She just wanted somebody, an adult that she can bitch in. Right? So I don't know what that's about. Um, but yeah, and then I heard something about wanting to be heard. She was already heard the first time, and there was compliance. So I can't necessarily say that it would be about wanting to be heard. It's about when you don't what I'm getting from it is when you don't recognize when you get what you want. It's kind of what I'm getting. Yeah, when you get what you've been asked for, and maybe people have a tendency to not recognize when they get what it is they would have asked for in those regards. So it's that part. The other portion of it, right? Um, that was coming to me in regards to some stuff. Uh, no, because of what I'm from what I've seen from the twins that were already Lord, identified of other ethnicities, right? They were really quick to help each other out. They were really quick to help each other out problems, without problem or fail or anything. And okay, I'm not gonna take this off the tradition. But the tradition being being an older gentleman. But they were readily uh, accepting of helping one another out because they understood the assignment. Basically, is what that boiled down to. And from what I recognized and noticed, I don't think her name is Bill, but with Dove and her twin, definitely, right? Yeah, I noticed that, you know, they went through their things, but when they came into union, you know, it was a whole lot of good stuff that happened, and they were really there to support and understand what was going on with one another. Okay, in that regard, I'm pretty sure they didn't do a whole bunch of spell work on one another. Yeah, you could tell that that wasn't something that was a part of their union based out of the way that they just interact with one another now. It was just one of those, yeah, it was the understanding of, okay, these are lessons that they have to learn, these are lessons that I have to learn. This is what I have to break, that's what they have to break, right? Um, One of the things that comes into play, yeah, with the contributing aspect, right? When you ask a question about certain things and then you'll get the answer to it. Okay? Inside one's mind, indirectness. Now I'm just shuffling the cards right now, and certain stuff is kind of coming out. Inside one's mind, indirectness, not being a queen of swords. But ultimately, with a lot of the things it was that was going into place with those two, right? Uh, and with a lot of other ones. One of the other things it is that I noticed that happened a lot on this swim, or what would constitute as people claiming to be on a twin flame journey in that regard, is it was a lot of married people and a lot of pedophiles for a really long time that called themselves stating that they were twins and all this other stuff. And some of the hidden motives and intentions, yeah, it was a lot of stuff that was going on, y'all. So much shit that was going on and coming into place. And there being an understanding that in regards to some of it, yeah, how business would have been done and needing to know the difference between, if it's some business shit that would be happening and all this other stuff. Some people you're just supposed to do business with. Yeah, and a lot of people would utilize that whole twin flame paradigm as the reason for uh to so you have to do business with me because I'm your twin flame, or I'm connected to a twin flame, or this is and what it really was an example of, say for instance, in a situation that I just came out of, where I've been dealing with, the thought process was, or what wasn't paid attention to, is what I'll say, is the biggest reason behind me not dealing with the cancer essence is because the way that cancer essence typically works, and it's not a problem, at all, but it's about the money aspect. It typically always boils down to everything being about money, being about finances. It's one of those, okay, well, that makes a lot of sense because you need money in order to do anything. It's a good, valuable resource, right, to have. Yeah, people would prefer the money and to not utilize certain resources because they expect for you to take care of that portion, which is, again, money is a very valuable resource, y'all. It is. And it can be fairly difficult. But it also has its own vibration. That's the other thing that is necessary to understand. Money has its own vibration. One of the things it was that I was looking up in regards to that was how certain bills, right? Excuse me, how certain bills cause or feel differently than others. Like a $20 bill has Andrew Jackson on it, and if you're highly essence sensitive and you get a $20 bill behind, if you can feel money and you get the $20 bills behind it, it don't feel as good. It feels really, really harsh. But that's because Andrew Jackson is on the $20 bill. He was a slaveholder. He was a warmonger. He was not a cool person at all. But Benjamin Franklin, for instance, you get a bill like Benjamin Franklin, it genuinely feels better because Benjamin Franklin was an inventor. He was a thinker, right? He was a thinker person. So, of course, Benjamin Franklin, even as a frequency, will feel better coming towards you. Okay? So there's that part. The other portion of it, or just get your thoughts out. Okay. The other thing is we got Mars conjunct the moon tomorrow. So it'll be about the hidden. What that's gonna be talking about is the hidden uh, Mars essences, so to speak, that'll come into play. And then with that parade of the planets, I'm really hoping people really paid attention to what they did during the parade of planets. Yeah, because if a person would have been doing any type of energetic workings during that time, that shit's gonna come back even in that regard. That shit comes back even in that regard. Um, I heard, what would you say to the twin flames that are having problems? What I would say to those people who are actual true twins and having problems, you need to pay attention to what it is that you did. You will really need to pay attention to what it is that you did. I said it before on my Instagram. I'll say it again now. Um, First and foremost, I heard you were chosen. Okay. But first and foremost, the main thing you need to pay attention to is your prejudices. Pay attention to your prejudices and being judgmental. That was the main thing that was going on in regards to a lot of stuff. You can't tell God, Goddess, the deities who it is that is supposed to be in what place. That's not your place to do. So being overly judgmental, I know that was one of the situations that was a test and a testament. Also, the supposedly harder lessons would have been about in adulthood and the correlation of what really constitutes as a childhood wound in adulthood versus when you were a child, and the reality of whether or not you had really overcome it already and you just reopened the wound just for the hell of it. I noticed that it's a lot of twins who unfortunately did that. It's one thing if you are suffering from addictions and things of that nature, or you had certain addictions and you needed to do basically what constitutes as replacement therapy, right? Right? Some people, what I've learned, they try to do what it looks like is what they were trying to do was overexposure therapy. If you've ever studied psychology, you understand that overexposure therapy is when, like, say for instance, you were in AA, right? If you were in Alcoholics Anonymous, right? One of the things that would have happened, right, would have been that you would have drank a whole lot. You would have binge drank, right? So you can be like, you know what, now I don't ever want to drink again. That's not always a good thing to do because you can genuinely kill your damn self that way. That part. The other portion of it is uh, the recognition of what constitutes as value, period, right? The third portion of it is, of course, breaking free from what constitutes as matrix thinking. We constitute it as matrix thinking now. But realistically, is identified as matrix thinking now because of the implementation of social media and the amount of popularity that a person can get with trigger words, keywords that make things come up, right? That make people pay you a lot of attention. I had talked about it on my Instagram. I had talked about it on my Instagram where there were a lot of really detrimental actions that were being placed to put people in place to be a influencer. It was like the more chaos and all this other shit that they were able to put out there, it made them more influential. So that's gonna be talking about you chaos practitioners And within the chaos practitioning portion, yeah, it realistically chaos practice it's called chaos practitioning, primarily because it's the implementation of all those parts that you know about. Okay, um, chaos practitioning could also can healing be constituted as chaos practitioning? Technically, yes, if you're utilizing a lot of different healing methods from different backgrounds that you have. So I understand that part too. It's a card that flipped over. Gift 17. For some people, how they would have received. Yeah, I got the Kipper deck out. Y'all know I typically start with the deck, but with okay, I just heard you should have started with Karma, with the Karma deck. Okay, you're trying to guide my reading. That's unfair. I'm not going to be doing any arguing during this reading either. So, in any event, um, with the whole twin flame dynamic situation, if you would have allowed yourself to heal from like childhood wounds and things of that nature, it would make things a whole lot easier for you. In any event, the gift, if you would have received the gift at your gift or gifts at the age of 17, or the receiving of a gift, um, what constitutes as a gift, and how a person can be a gift, how that's not viewed any longer, primarily because as we've gotten older and dealt with social media, yeah, what a gift looks like, it don't look the same. Okay. The other portion of the summer, yeah, another card came out. So we got gift and change. Another portion of it, that will come into place. Yeah, how the gift would be changed, right? It's that part. Some people, yeah, some ways that it'll manifest for some people, it'll be about change, like actual money. Others, the gift would be for a person to change their ways of thinking. Now the thing that comes into place with that's a gift that you can give yourself more particularly. Um, Looping back around to that 379 and the irony that comes into place with oh my good the hibachi sequence. I think that's what that's called. And how Nikola Tesla, his thing was the 369 rule, and depending on, somebody must have did, no, because what I'm seeing now is how a person would have did the 369 situation, and they would have put the X's over the person. Mm, mm, mm. No, because that's something that you typically do when you want a person out of your life. You do get some people who would have did that shit to their twin, who would have did that shit to their, what they would have thought was a twin, uh, because what would be happening in regards to it. Yeah, I'm gonna see, because I don't have a lot of cards that say twin flame or nothing like that. A lot of, yeah, I haven't gotten to that point yet. But ultimately, when they would have put a lot of X's over a person, yeah, and if it's a group of people that would have done it, I just heard somebody say they don't believe fat meat is greasy. No, they don't. Also, they wouldn't. One of the other things that kind of popped out to me in one of the other readings, it was that I watched. Yeah, I had watched another. Oh, pause. By the way, happy Sunday Fun Day. Happy Sunday Fun Day. I think I need to put that as a title. I haven't been putting titles on my things. My bad, y'all. But Happy Sunday Fun Day. Um, some of the other things it was that have a tendency to happen is when we recall, when you recall all the things it is that would have been done, and if you would have put that much stuff on one person, I heard you speaking from experience. I am speaking from experience. I am. I am definitely speaking from experience because I know a lot of stuff that got put on me, and I know a lot of it was put on me. Yeah, I know a lot of it was put on me because it was ultimately because of birth placement shit. That's pretty much what that boils down to, and because it's the thought process of being old enough to handle it. Yeah, it's one of those you should be old enough to take whatever is going on, I guess. Yeah, and yeah, because it ensure how a person wouldn't think you were adult enough. It's kind of what I'm getting from it. All right. Is there anything else on this bit? Okay. Okay. Overall essence of a wealthy man. So you got gift, change, occupation, house. Mature man is in reverse. Despair, mature woman. And then journey. Okay, so what this is giving is how, yeah, with the incoming journey, the maturity journey, and they're being described of the mature woman. And then within the house, it'll be the new beginning in the house, the new beginning in the commitment or marriage to a false person as a message. That's that part. The other part of it will be about the child marriage. This is gonna be talking about some child marriages. How you would have been married as a child to the wrong person, married or committed to the wrong person, and that being what it is that would have been the message of it all. Some of the other stuff it is that I'm really getting from it in regards to what goes on. Yeah, because whenever I see these, I kind of see them from the tarot aspect, even though we don't have tarot. But when you're in the house, within one being in the house, and the child being, how one would come into a marriage, a house with children as a commitment already in the message. And there being an occupation, yeah, how you already have kids. It's kind of where the other portion of it in the higher vibration, it'll be talking about what will happen in generations to come with being married. To the wrong person. That was something that happened a whole lot. Yeah, and they claimed that was, definitely one of the dynamics, but it's not gonna be that. Yeah, it shouldn't be that damn messy. But the occupation within one changing how one will work in the house, and then the in and the alchemicalization of it being the maturity of the journey. But within the house, one not being mature, and there being despair over the mature woman. The best way that I could say that we're going to it, if you no, because what is giving is how could you do it for this person, but you won't do it for me? You need to pay attention to that ask that question to yourself. What did you do for somebody else that you didn't do for the person you were supposed to do it for? is what that boils down to. Yeah, it always pretty much boils down to what did you do in that regard. The other portion, yeah, because it don't matter. With Saturn being retrograde right now, Saturn brings up a whole lot. It brings up a whole lot of shit, and it tells the truth about everything. Like, period. So there's that portion. The other part of it, right? How people would block things from coming into you. It could certainly would be. So yeah, I got the Nefertiti Tarot. It'll be about the title that comes into place with it. And then it'll be about within one looking inside themselves, hermit essence, what it is to be on a path and look inside themselves and it being a burden, being burdened or burdensome, and what constitutes as burdens. Children, some of this will be children shouldn't constitute as burdens, but adults do. So within the love of a passionate new beginning, in the house of love of a passionate new beginning, over the course of 2 months of being that passionate new beginning, 2 months in a week, 2 months of February. What would have happened in February as a passionate new beginning for some situations, with what would have been discussed with the whole children aspect. No, because some of this will be about if it goes from a man in this house aspect, the sadness that would have come into place with a man not being mature, and yeah, how it would have been, how the hidden portion, how a woman would be really running things. It'll really be a woman in charge, not a man. And the Five of Swords, the shift in the thought. It'll also be not only the shift in the thoughts, but it'll be the decision of heartache. How one would decide to be heartbroken. One of the things that I notice is it's not about the blame for punishment. It's more so about how some people just they don't know how to feel happy. That's unfortunate. They wouldn't know how to feel happy. They wouldn't know how to do anything. And conditioning. When you condition a person to certain shit. I'm okay. So the other deck it was that I know I'm supposed to use is the Starman Tarot, but I'm gonna her do whatever it is you have to. I will, because I'm curious about this moon magic. Okay, with the incoming, you are good enough, full moon in Virgo. So that would have been during Pisces season, at the height of yeah, the height of Pisces season. You are good enough in the emotions, and then what do you need to release? What do you need to release? What are you letting go of? Expect powerful change overall essence. Yeah, because within this, what you need to release is being a mature man with the waning moon. If you know the moon cycle, yeah, you can't do the same type of shit for every moon cycle. Yeah. Give an example of that. If you okay, like say for instance with like breakup spells, right? Breakup spells, or even yeah, too many people already do shit on a full moon any damn way, right? But if like you doing a breakup spell or what they call it, or a money spell, right? I'll prefer to use the money spell. If you do like a money spell and you do it during a waning moon, That's a crown moon. Versus doing it, yeah, which means it's gonna be about the wisdom that's attached to it. Versus you doing a money spell during a waxing moon, is gonna be attached to how immature you would be, or what would need to grow, or what constitutes as growing. I hope that helps. No, because it's the same thing that comes into place when people just out of nowhere randomly do like breakup spells and all this other shit. It's the same thought process. Yeah, because a person they gonna break up with a person out of wisdom, and if you doing that little X shit over a person's name, yeah, you if you keep doing that kind of shit, or a lot of people be doing that kind of shit over the same person, it's all the same thing. Yeah, it'll be based out of you breaking up, or you removing that person, or you're not doing whatever you're doing with that person out of wisdom. You're not doing it based out of, yeah, and wisdom is based out of what it is you would know, right? So nothing will come of this situation where the course moon, emotions are running high. It's time to take action. A win-win. Yeah, yeah. This came in reverse. But what would be on the incoming portion of it is how one would be good enough. What do they need to let go of within having a win-win outcome in the forecast and the end of a tough cycle approaching. That would be what would be coming in, right? Huh. And if you have the ideal set that the more money you have, the more problems you'll have. So it's that part. Okay, I just heard really loud. No, 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 that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Um, okay. So some of you all might need to sit with what it is you would want. You gonna have to do some real soul. So some of y'all might have to do some real soul searching, and then yeah, it'll be about void of course moon, super moon, moon Aries, full moon in Libra, full moon in Capricorn, waning moon, and full moon in Virgo. Right? Yeah, in short, this is some shit that would have been taking place with how how a person will want to change or take someone's gift, because the gifts it is that a person will have as a mature woman, it brings sadness to them because that's what that mature woman will have. That's crazy. Yeah, you heard how somebody want to take your assignment. Well, it gets a lot of play, I guess, to take somebody's assignment. That's not cool because the assignment on every person's life. That's for every person. That's what their assignment is. That's not for anybody else. Yeah, can't nobody else do it like you would be assigned to do it. So you just leave that alone. Yeah, and the other portion of it is how the gift would change the work, would change one's occupation. Yeah, but when you would do it, it's about the commitments that come into place with certain things. Some of it is that I'm noticing that it'll take place with the whole child aspect. It'll be about what goes on in regards to the child not being the actual person in the message. The lovers, yeah, and this it'll be about the lovers, Gemini aspect, star-crossed lovers. Yeah, how everything means something different for everyone. And if you don't have the clarity necessary, you'll think it's something else. And the gift that'll be coming in regards to it, one not being spiritually connected is one of them. The other one it'll be about the month of June. The other one it'll be in regards to 6 months ago. The other portion of it will be about what it is that would go on with one not being childlike as a lover. And then it'll be in regards to this Princess of Pentacles portion. Income, some of it will be about income and spirit, and the alchemicalization of it, income and spiritual connections within one coming in with an offer for work, offer for work, an offer for work or an offer over 8 years, over the course of 8 years. Yeah, how a person will work with certain people, work with the star Aquarius. Wow, work with the star Aquarius, uh, Gemini, Aquarius, that says. Yeah, it's one of those how a person will work with them. And the work not being a small offer of stability, but a bigger one. Oh wow. Impatience is one of them. Earthbound angels not being an alchemist. What it is for a person to not be an alchemist. Teacher or any of that, like at face value, but what would be coming in, yeah, would be the angel, the angelic aspect. With this star aspect, so in the humanitarian portion, what would be hidden and one not being friends and not being healed. Yeah, the boundaries that come into place with one not being friends and not being apologetic and not being healed. Yeah, you would need somebody to help heal, and how sometimes you need somebody to help heal you. And what constitutes as being healed in today's time, realistically? Yeah, because what one of the things that's kind of coming to me is it's a lawyer, right? She has Down syndrome. Some people see those as ailments and diseases, but when utilized correctly and alchemized, when a person understands how things work for them, yeah, they know how they learn. And I want to say that that was the same person. Yeah, well, some of them do actually kind of look alike though. Um, but a lot of times they create jobs and shit for themselves. It's not, yeah, it's a handicap to us, but it would constitute as a superpower to them. So some of the signs they called out realistically is Gemini, Aquarius, Sagittarius, Pisces, the betrayals. Oh wow. Now, I just heard some of this stuff being about being coven members. What do y'all constitute? First and foremost, it's going to be about what constitutes as a coven member. You really have to pay attention to what, yeah, coven members and covenants, and what it is to be under the covenant, and the betrayal that comes into place with a star seed, whether it's a star seed meaning a celebrity or a star seed meaning an actual star seed of being misfortune. Betrayal, the betrayal that comes into place with it, as well as the ending, how one would end things, because a person wouldn't have been an angel or wouldn't have alchemicalized things. Heard they wouldn't have tapped in to know how. Yeah, that's true. But the other planets it is that we're dealing with, of course, is Mercury, the Moon, and Uranus and Jupiter. When Jupiter was retrograde, Lord, during the parade of the planets, was Jupiter retrograde? Huh. Not having a higher knowing, yeah, okay, not having a higher knowing of the mental abuse. What was taking place with one being mentally abusive? Or go ahead and say what you have to. Well, one of the things that's definitely mentally abusive is you running around telling a whole bunch of people that this person is your person and got married, or you met you. Okay, if you know who your person is, right? For the masculines who are having difficulty, right? Because I can't play the being sweet with y'all again. That's how I started this channel off first. Being sweet, encouraging you all. And y'all took that shit and fucking ran into the ground. And because you were being encouraged, it made you think that it's okay for you to be whorish and to give to everybody but the divine feminine. That's how that manifested over 6 years. Okay, that was the manifestation of it over the course of 6 years, because I've had this channel for 6 years, but I had to delete all of my readings prior to now because the way that they were being utilized. And I didn't want to be abused like that. And nobody else deserves to be abused like that. I don't give a damn if it is a karmic feminine. If you know that she's a karmic feminine or a karmic masculine, you simply remove yourself and you allow healing and you keep pushing. A lot of people miss that part. That was a whole portion. Yeah, that's why I said it's not it's a no flex zone. All of that. And the primary goal is to heal, right? Yourself and others, right? I even remember posting it when I was about to interview for Friendship Village. In any event, the puppeting aspect that can or would come into place with mental abuse, um, basically what it boiled down to, yeah, and how a person wouldn't have that telepathic communication any longer. It's that part. The other portion, yeah, and since the person wouldn't have the telepathic communication any longer, that it's the whole break the mind, keep the body situation that will go on in regards to it. That's that part. The other portion of it, right, with this whole the way things were in the tradition versus the way that the transcendental spiritual truth will come into place. Some of this stuff will even be, yeah, it'll even be affecting the Pope, House of Representatives, State Senate. Yeah, it'll be people, period, right? Or it's about the butterfly effect. If you allow for it to happen, it's the butterfly effect. So, there's that. But the incoming King of Swords portion, some of it will be about how a person would be karmic King of Swords or mentally abusive. Not having a plan, not having a direct plan, always wanting to get, one of the things that I say, my soul is tired of bullshit. When your soul gets tired of some bullshit, it's a whole different level. When your soul is tired of it. So there's that portion. The other part of it, right? And this whole King of Swords, one not having a person, hold on, let's see what else come out. Yeah, being karmic in regards to the messages. Yeah, one not being emotionally stable, not knowing what to think or do or plan, and the indirectness that comes into place with one not being with one being materialistic as a friend. Huh. And the materialization of a friend, how a friend would show up. Nah, cause what it keeps talking about is, if you my real friend, that's that childhood wound shit that keep coming up. If you my real friend, but if you my real friend, you'll come. Well, how do you treat the big thing of it is how do you treat your real friends, or how does a person treat their real friends, especially when it's yeah, when it's a land that you govern or a space that you're in charge of. Uh, yeah, one of the things that will come into place with definitely with the different organizations is I wouldn't have been considered as a real friend to none of them because if you employ your friends, those are the only people that you employ are people that are your friends. Well, I wasn't considered as a friend to anybody. Thus, the reason why I can make the statement, I don't have friends. Oh my goodness. Okay, so in a friendship, one being able to go on another day with this nine of wands, the completing of the inspiration. Yeah, and how a person, yeah, and what constitutes as a person showing up for you in spirit, or showing up for you. However, how does a person show up within this page of cups, nine of wands, friendship, being able to go on another day, uh, short, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, yeah, and how friendship would be exhausted, or a friendship would be resilient. Not if you beating their ass. No, that's not what friends do. You don't beat your friend ass. Yeah, no, cause some of that is about the hazing and the initiations and all this other shit. I put that in it. Is this because I put that in that letter with the whole initiation portion? I don't give a fuck what y'all say. No, you're not supposed to do this shit for that fucking long. What the fuck is wrong with you? The sun, enlightenment, Leo, knowing, happiness, the hermit. I said, what about being a part of a soul tribe? Okay, one of the things that will go into place if you are doing spell work, if you're doing spell work on people in your soul tribe, you discounted them being a part of your soul tribe. So stop. Just stop. Because that means you're trying to bind them to you. Part one. Part two. Yeah, because the gods and goddesses deck was coming to me. If you know that a person delivers messages for specific gods and goddesses, if these are things that you know have anchored fucking proof, I heard words of divine feminine. Take that off the table. Take that off the table. Stop with that. Because the mere fact that y'all don't even understand what divinity is. If you're quote unquote a twin that needs help right now, that means that some of the basic concepts you didn't grasp when it was assigned. You had a preconceived notion and you let someone else tell you what to do. That's what that Uranus essence is about. Some of it is going to be about radio. Some of it's going to be about higher learning. Some of it's going to be about what it is to do what you feel. Now, because with the whole workshops and seminars shit, is because that was something that came into place. I would have been doing, or heard, what constitutes as workshops and seminars, but nobody wanted to recognize me as doing workshops and seminars. And whenever I do post, yeah, if you're not gonna watch it, I'm just putting the information out there because I know that I have to put the information out there. It's not for me to argue with your soul or argue with your spirit. If you feel the need to continuously argue, then you do not need to come to me energetically or otherwise. That arguing shit, that's immature. You don't want to have a conversation. You want to just prove that you right. And if you right, okay, you right. You cool. You right. Ain't nobody. I'm not about to debate with you. You right. And just leave it at that. Okay, for those twins who feel like they wrong. Okay, well then you need to figure out. That's something that you guys gonna have to figure out. Let me finish this read. Yeah, because within one looking inside themselves in regards to the supernatural aspect, yeah, and what I'm getting for that is not being new to being a hermit. That's that part. The other portion, or hermit or in isolation, the other part of it is when you didn't do the part of it will be about the soul serpent. The other part of it will be about how one wouldn't be on a fool's journey as a hermit. They either didn't get there, they didn't accept it, or they didn't go to that phase. Alright. Let me get these other little messages real quick. Hold on. Let me do what makes a little bit more sense. So to summarize this portion, because I could clear this up, right? Yeah, because some of this is going to be about names. Some of it is going to be, because the overall essence of it is investment. Now, looking at the overall essence of all of this is within one being a wealthy man, there being the expectation of powerful change in regards to ending the burdens, right? I just heard what it is to fulfill a past life contract. Yeah. I heard, oh, I got it, yeah. And what it is to, in a lot of these. Yeah, and sure, what you may think will happen, it may not happen the way it is that you think it will. That's not always a bad thing, though, y'all. Or even when you have foresight, it's not always a bad thing, right? It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Yeah, that's the way that you detach from situations, right? Okay. So ultimately, yeah, in regards to how one person wouldn't be able to make the journey to a mature woman, and there being the birthing of the house and all, the birthing or the new beginning in a space. I heard how everything would have already been put in order. Yeah, how you would have put some shit in order and didn't even know you were putting it in order. If it makes you guys feel better, with some instances, that happens a lot with me. Because, okay, let me tell y'all real quick, right? Because if you watch on my Instagram, right, with me finding my social security card, it was where it was in a safe place. I had put it up where it should have gone. Where it should have gone where it was supposed to be anyway. And the spur that comes with one not being on a journey to a mature woman. Some of this other stuff that comes into place, yeah, to being what constitutes as maturity. Or can you read off those numbers real quick? Sure. 17, 9, 34, 20. Now, when you get to this 20, right, what's inside the 20, right, is 18,387. And then me and the mature man, right? That's 5, 10, 32, 6. No, because I know somebody, yeah, overall essence of 13, and if you would have had to become mature, emotionally intelligent at the age of 13. So there's that portion. So let me clear this off real quick. And yeah, overall essence of it is paying attention to the alignments that come into place with stars, star seeds, of how people want, yeah, what constitutes as a gift change, or the gift of being able to change. um, okay, I'm hearing these and these out. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I gotta hurry up because I got some other stuff I gotta hurry up and do real quick. Yeah, within a friendship not being recognized. I'm sorry, go ahead and say what you have to. I wasn't recognized. If that's how you treat your friends, make me, yeah, with some people, yeah, some people are better off being an enemy. Shit, if that's how they treat their friends. So, if that's what it is, that's what it is. Yeah, because some people treat their enemies better than they treat their motherfucking friends. And then when you look inside, no, you know what it is. Before I even go to these guys and goddesses cards, y'all know what it is. When a person prays for their enemy, that'll be, yeah. I heard, go ahead and say what you got to. Yeah, when you pray, when they say pray for your friend, pray for your enemy, and what it is you pray for an enemy. What it is you will pray for an enemy. Oh my goodness, what the fuck, y'all? What? Yeah. No, cause all the different shit it is that I'm seeing go on. I heard it even how it's manifested around you. Yeah, even how it's manifested around me. With like, yeah, cause and how rejection can be protection. How rejection would be protection in regards to things. Okay. Did I use these already? No, I don't need to use those. I'm not gonna. I'm not putting it away yet. Okay. So let's see what the now for some situations based out of the messages it is that I've been getting, like in totality, a person wouldn't have expected that they would have been doing that much. It's one of those I didn't even do that much. It's one of those, yeah, you would have did that much. If you can't remember what you did, if you can't even recall what you did too much. Her, what about when a person would have been possessed? I don't, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. You're not gonna say that. Because even in possessions, I've learned through study, right? Even when a person is possessed, they recall what it is that would have happened. That's a part of, for some people, I had instructed them to do deep theta healing, right? And a different form of possession is, of course, MK Ultra, and what is it called? And brainwashing, like if you in the military and all this other shit, and you automatically fall into a particular thought process and paradigm, you can recall still what it is that would be going on. Yeah, they call it brainwashing, but in the brainwashing aspect, you can always recover who you are. And blend that with, your abilities, whatever ability it is that you have. Okay, I just heard. Have you always liked studying psychology? Yes, I have always liked studying psychology. Psychology helped me understand why was that everything it was that happened to me and to those people who are around me. It was, but it was initially was so that I can understand what happened to me. Yeah, so I wouldn't be hurting all the damn time. Bitch, I'm a Taurus. I like comfortable shit. I don't like to be in pain. What the hell? Mental, emotionally, and none of that. I hate that shit. Very annoying. Please make sure y'all have y'all journals out, especially for this next part. Especially for this next part. No, because it keep coming up with the statement being made about being a life coach. I heard that in a different reading. I had already offered to be a life coach. Already, yeah, that got taken from me and it was given to somebody else. Everything I wanted to do got taken from me and it was given to somebody else. And if they not doing a good job at it, that's not my fault because you took. How you gonna take my assignment from me? You're not the fucking teacher, especially if you don't even fucking like teachers. No, I'm serious. I am so fucking serious when it comes to a lot of this shit. Y'all don't like teachers, which honestly kind of makes me really think, yeah, in a spiritual sense and on the spiritual side of shit, how do you truly feel? You more than likely need to get in touch with how you really feel about God. Because a lot of people feel like God is just this magic genie. And that has nothing to do with how you feel about your earthly father or any celestial body or anything. A lot of people really feel like God is just this magic genie that just gives them whatever, and yeah, and they can just do whatever. So you might need to figure out how you really feel about that. That might be where you need to start. I'm just giving y'all inclinations on some different places it is that you may really need to start. Without you receiving a personal touch of clarity, I guess, I can't really help you with it. I do accept donations though. I prefer financial ones. Yeah, the stabilizing kind. I prefer those. So there's that portion. The other part of it though, yeah, let's get into this other part. But yeah, y'all, you might want to really no because God Goddess. I say God Goddess because I have a different understanding that you may have. There's nothing wrong with me having the understanding that I have, and you having the understanding that you have. The problem that comes into place with the discord in it would be because you see it as it has to be just one, where which would discredit the duality of it being man and woman. And that there would even be, yeah, and it's already proven that there are other, I want to call them races, actual races like of alien life forms and different mammals. And yeah, if it was only a man, I'm not even gonna lie, this is just my reasoning behind it. You don't have to agree with it. If God was only a man, then it would only be men on earth. So, do with that what you will. It's the same if God was only a woman. Absolutely. 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 If God was only a man or God was only a woman, it would be one sex because we would be constituted made in their image. right? So again, that's just me. You don't have to agree with it, and just because you don't agree with it, don't mean that it don't mean that I'm not gonna listen to what the other person will have to say. It's about it's about knowing about what resonates and leaving the rest. Absolutely. What fits for you, what doesn't fit for you. I heard something about opening up a person's eyes. Once you've been exposed to certain information, you can't go back. You might want to, but you really can't, and it's very annoying. Trust me, I've tried. I've tried. All the hell it is I done been through, you damn right I done tried. Okay, so it's that moon. So some of this shit is gonna be about Monday, some of it's gonna be about Thursday, some of it's gonna be about what other day of the week? Wednesday. Something that's coming to me is how did you learn the days of the week? How did you learn the days of the week? And if you celebrate Kwanzaa year round, yeah, because I don't even practice Kwanzaa year round the same way as everybody else does anymore. Like at first, I was doing it, just at the end of the year. Then after that, I took it and started doing it all throughout the year. And then I noticed that that was too slow for me. So I did it according to the hours of the day. Yeah, and sure, I had to speed up. I had to speed it up because it didn't. Yeah, because the shit wasn't making sense to my mind anymore to do it so slowly. I heard you left a lot of people behind. I okay. That's what I'll say to that. Okay. As a response, it wasn't my intention to leave anyone behind. It was my intention to bring people forward and to bring them with me in it. And they had a free will choice not to speed up too. So when you have a free will choice not to pick up the pace, even though you're being guided to pick up the pace, to move a little bit faster, yeah, if you intentionally moving slow, then you know that's how you miss opportunities. What I'll say in that regard is that's how I'm hearing this on the left side of my head. I heard that's how a lot of people miss the opportunity with you. No, I showed up so that I could receive the irony is I showed up to receive the opportunity. I showed up to receive the opportunity. However, within me showing up to receive the opportunity, what I actually saw was that the opportunity had already been distributed to someone else. In short, when you know what your assignment is, you know what your place is, and somebody puts you in another place or puts you in another space. When they put you, when a human will put you in another place, opposed to the place that you're supposed to be in. Yeah, it's about putting a person who can put in. Yeah, something about being put in a place. Okay. I heard go ahead and say what you have to. No, because the only thing that ever happens in regards to, and it's been happening a lot. Yeah, because the same situation kept happening in regards to people trying to figure out what I'm doing, and they'll watch or read and trying to determine what I would be doing. And the main thing that kept coming up, and it happened when It happened when I was living with my kids. It happened when I was living with my dad, and it happened while I'm living with my sister. The exact same situation kept coming up. Oh, she got a new boo. It's like, no, I'm living with my family member, you fucking idiot. I was healing situations or attempting to heal situations with my family. In short, I'm doing what's that one angel thing that I posted on my Instagram? Stop worrying about what I'm doing at my motherfucking job. I'm on my motherfucking job. I got don't worry about what time I got here. I'm doing my motherfucking job. And when you the type of person to always do your motherfucking job. I heard of nothing more and nothing less. That part. That part. The other part of it that come into place that there was now, because the other part of it that comes into place that it was a situation where it was spell work done. Okay, so ultimately, or it loops back around to his indecision. Absolutely, where he caught himself letting me go or cutting me free, right? So that I would be intimate with another individual. First and foremost, we weren't in a 3D relationship. So yeah, so the spell work it was that he did to whatever spell work it was that was done. He had already cut cords. Yeah, motherfuckers was putting X's over my name, all this shit. And with them putting the X over a person's name, if you're an alchemist or an alchemical individual, it'll make you re-examine what's going on with different people that you haven't encountered in a really long time. Or people that would constitute as a quote unquote X. It's that part. The other portion of it. Um, our past life soulmates, possibly. I did a whole series on how your past life people would be a part of your family. Yeah, they could be a part of your family, and it'll show different shit it is you would need to heal with them. I did a whole series on like all this shit. I swear to God, you motherfuckers didn't take notes from it. Damn, y'all was just watching the shit just to see what the Lord. Look now, I gotta get your kids. Get your kids. I delivered the messages. I delivered the messages. And what messages I wasn't able to deliver to people the way that they needed to be delivered is because they wanted to deliver the message opposed to me doing it. So let them, whatever. It don't matter if they were out of alignment, they wanted to do it. So what am I supposed to say? If I say something that's going against their free will choice. So, Moon and Sagittarius. This is interesting. This is so interesting. All this shit is hella fucking interesting. Y'all. I told you not gonna help us no more. This is the best way that I can. This is the only way you wanted me to help you. It was your free will choice to make me help you like this. And it was also your free will choice not to acknowledge that I help like this. And it was also your free will choice to do spell work on me to any and every capacity. Whether it be you talking shit, whether it be you actually lighting candles, whether it be you doing water magic, whether it be anything other than clearing your head and healing. Anything other than clearing your head and healing and making sure that you're okay. That was your free will choice. And I can't fight you on your free will choices. Nah, that's the reason why a lot of people got mad because I made the statement. And yeah, I made the statement during one of the readings. Is the mama factor, right? That comes into place with it. I can't make you do it, but I can make you wish you had No, that was the message that I was told to give to y'all. See, I don't have that problem. I typically just do what I'm supposed to. Unfortunately. Let's kick back into this. I hope y'all got y'all journals out. Alright, defend, insights to understand, service to others. In the spiritual aspect, I will repeat. Defend, insights to understand, service to others. One God. Ensure everybody definitively acknowledges that one God. And what that boils down to is everybody will definitively acknowledge what you do. That's the primary portion that comes into place with it. It's not about what you feel. That's why a lot of people don't acknowledge the goddess aspect. Yeah, because the goddess portion would be in regards to how the emotions that would stem into it. That's why a lot of people don't like to acknowledge goddess essence in that regard. It's not to say that they don't believe in it or see it working. It's just that's why it's not acknowledged as much. But definitely the God aspect of it. Or can you restate that about the God, about having a God complex? A lot of people have. It's the difference between having a God complex and having God consciousness. That's typically the part that a lot of people fuck up with. If you have God consciousness, you're gonna try your best to do your best at all times, right? With whatever information it is that you have. Ensure her discernment. Yeah, like ensure a person, because African American people can relate to this a lot. A person who has only been taught to steal, that's the only thing it is that they know. Especially a person who's only been taught to steal, they can't be basically held accountable if no one ever taught them how to, never taught them how to do something. In short, a person who would only steal fish, that's how I can look at it, or how it can help you. A person who's only been able, or who has only been taught to steal fish, you can't get mad at them because they've only been taught to steal fish. No one has taught them how to go out and actually go to a space and get a stick and a piece of leaves. I'm just saying, at the most primal portion of it, okay? Get a stick and get a really long stem or leaf, right? And tie it to the stick and put it in the water and wait until a fish grabs onto it, right? You can't really blame them for that because they don't know about that portion. Now, when they've been exposed, right? Like, say for instance, now, you take that same example with the fishing, right? And say for instance, this person only steals fish, right? But a person comes to them and says, hey, you don't have to steal fish. That's the seed that's being planted right there. The fact that they've even been told, hey, you don't have to steal this. You can act, it's a way for you to go get it. Now, here's the problem that comes into place with this, where a lot of people want to start the debate, right? In the lower functions. I don't know how to I don't know how to do anything but steal. Okay, someone just told you that you don't have to do that, which means they know how to. So the higher vibration question, right, or the higher vibration of it is, can you teach me how to fish? Can you teach me how to do this? That's the higher functioning of it. Okay? Now, throughout life, what has a tendency to happen is you get that same situation that'll keep coming into place where it's, hold on, I don't have to steal this. I can just ask. And this person will give it to me, or that person will give it, yeah, they'll give me whatever it is that I need. Typically, yeah, now the problem that'll come into place with it, right, is if you know how to fish, right? Yeah, you got into the higher vibration and you're like, you know what, I don't want to, yeah, I don't want to have to steal the fish because I can go out and fish as much as I want to on my own now, right? Now, if you go out there and you fishing however much you want to, and then you resort back to stealing, right? Now, the first time you resort back to it, it's one of those, okay, maybe you need to be, yeah, maybe you weren't taught, yeah, or you see that fishing is too hard. So now it's one of those, okay, maybe you need to see that you need a worm, or you need something to lure the fish in, okay? So now you see, you got what you need to lure the fish in, right? Bait and tackle boxes, yeah. So now you see that, you know, you gotta get a different way to get this fish to come to you, right? So within you doing that, now so I was, oh, okay, I didn't have the right means so that I could get full. Now, after that's been taught to you, if you go back again, or that's when karma incurs. That is exactly when karma incurs. Because now you're doing it because you don't want to do the work. And you would have already apologized, made the mistake again, got the correction on it, and you still don't want to do what you need to. So there's that portion. Yeah, it do be the same thing as when you be like, you know what, I just don't want to do this no more. I don't want to do this no more. I don't want to live like this no more. I don't, and you get certain things. Now, the other portion that comes into place with it is the whole delayed gratification aspect. Oh my God, I've been on here for. Let me hurry up. But the other part of it is, no, I don't mind talking. It's just a matter of I don't want my words wasted and falling on deaf ears. That's what that be about. Because I've given all this shit I've spoken about already several times. I've spoken about already several times. And then, yeah, and at some point it's one of those, okay, a person can't keep reminding you because it's put out into the universe, so you'll have reminders already. So, defend insights to understand service to others. Defend insights to understand service to others. One of the things that's kind of coming to me in regards to that is, for instance, right, in my city, right, we used to have a man by the name of, I want to say it was Father Bob. I think that was his name, and he had, or Father Rice, Father Rob and Father Rice, right? So Catholics, um, but they had different shelters for people, for the homeless, and then what ended up happening was, before the mayor that just left with Lighter Cruising, she shut down all of those all of those non-for-profits. She shut all that shit down. I want to say it was in 2020. 2019, 2020. She shut down a whole shitload of homeless shelters. So all of those ancestral spirits that were being housed, because you need spiritual essence in order to power any type of magic that would be done. Ku Klux Klan know about this. So I'm just saying. Her, we know about it in hoodoo too. Okay, but you need a spirit, right? To fulfill whatever, right? Because they were profiting off of the pain, right? So since they couldn't go and be housed at Father Rice's or Father Bob's, when those got shut down, they migrated towards, it was a lot of African American people and those who passed, whether they realized they were black or not, they found out then. Anyway, they migrated to the Arch. Now, the Arch is built on land that was destroyed by, they destroyed a black city that was right there. And they left all of those spirits and persons and everything, they left them unhoused so that the Arch could be built. Eminent domain. Yeah, they pulled the eminent domain. And the irony that comes into play, that is a violation not only of spiritual contract, but it's also realistically a violation of the law. When you force a person out like that and you don't provide them reciprocation or a way for them to be able to continue their lives on. That's the same shit that we got going on with Lake Lanier. Yeah, why be all this fucked up shit happening? And it was being aided, it was being fixed when the past mayor was in office. She created a lot of programs, but black people was feeling some type of way. She created a lot of programs and things of that nature to get people off of the streets and get them into housing. Now, the problem that came into place with that as an issue with this Capricorn essence, right, would be the way that it manifested is property taxes. The landlords were utilizing and Airbnbs, property taxes and all that kind of stuff. They were utilizing the shit wrong, and they didn't want to pay their property taxes. They just wanted the property so that they could live off of it how the fuck they wanted to. But the irony that came into place with it is they only behaved that way when it was a person who wasn't a practitioner like them, or who was of another ethnicity, or if they didn't have understanding of the law. So that's another karmic essence that comes into place with it. All right, first one out, Gangang Sada, Resistance, 22, Master Builders. Is this going to be talking about the female Masons? We talking about the female Masons now? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, because it's little known facts that female Masons exist. And they're above Eastern stars. And whether people like to acknowledge it or not, no, they don't have the same practices. That's why it's considered a foul practice for a male Mason to take a little black boy and be his bride as the ceremony to pass over to 33rd degree Masonhood. That would be the problem. Because it's women Masons that they could do it with. In short, it's people that's old enough. And the purpose behind that particular practice is so that they could continue their practice of spirituality. I heard, how do you know all of these keys? Because I studied and I sat with spirit. Y'all the motherfuckers who put me in isolation and been trying to kill me since I was born. God has to figure out a way to get the shit out. Why do you always say that? When I was a baby, I was intentionally given 2 shots of penicillin. One made one half of my body cold and the other half of my body hot. And I almost died then. And if it wasn't for a woman doctor saying, you know what, you're not doing that to her no more. If it wasn't for that person, and it was at a general clinic. Again, I don't make a statement about something that would have happened to me and I don't have evidence or I don't have proof. That's part of the reason why I probably don't get that. It takes a lot for me to get sick. Have I ever broken any bones? No, I ain't broke no bones. Okay, my knee popping out of places, that count? Having cesarean sections, does that count? In any event. Gang, Sarah, Citra. Ooh, shit. Oh, and somebody been dealing with Shango. Y'all better stop giving Shango alcohol all the damn time. He likes water. Shango likes water. I think y'all should know that. Y'all don't purify y'all motherfucking altars enough to be doing some of the shit y'all be doing. Shango likes water. Actually, to be honest with you, he likes it. It's a sparkling water. He likes, what's that Canadian shit? He enjoys that. What else? Yeah, he enjoys the fruit waters and all that other kind of shit. You ain't only got to give him liquor. That's probably why some of y'all shit backfiring, because I've delivered that message for him quite a few different times. Or that's why these petitions aren't being met too. Absolutely. They're not even doing the shit right. Y'all the only motherfuckers who don't want to heal. The guys and goddesses don't want all that shit. Did y'all not pay attention? I want to say, what's her name? With the palm oil. Black Witch Yaya, she did one. That was another message to you motherfuckers. Let me shut the fuck up. Just shut the shit. Yeah, I'm gonna look. Don't say nothing else. Don't say nothing else. You just let them keep it. You telling them this because you know they gonna get hurt. They don't want to listen to you. You kept telling them the same thing because you knew they would get hurt. They didn't want to listen. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Let it go. Leave it alone. Let it go. But we got resistance, brazen, storms, and Mama Jumbo. The tree of life and stuff. So wouldn't be Mama Jumbo, Papa Alegba. And with Oya storms, who's the dude that deal with storms? It's not. Is that a room? Yeah. Before y'all start be calling, and that's the other thing. Before you keep saying it, some of these things that you all are seeing are demons. I heard something about Palo Santo. You utilizing Palo Santo and then you not acknowledging the African gods or goddesses. That's part of the reason why there was so much upheaval and shit during Ferguson. And during it showed the solidity of a lot of different communities when all those sacrifices realistically were made across the country. For whatever fucking reason. Oh, and yes, I was there. I was there under some different guidance, though. Not everybody got their picture taken. Mine got taken out because not the police, the military kept seeing me, but we not gonna go there. That's not for me to even talk about. Let me shut the fuck up. Or say what you have to. No, I'm just saying. I was instructed to get it in my van and sage and block off a perimeter. You know how hard it is to block off a perimeter? That damn wide, even in a van, and seeing them damn tanks and shit. Let me stop. Let me stop. Yeah, because I wasn't up at the forefront. Let me be quiet. Let me be quiet. Because being the spirit of peace, when y'all love war and having wartime, and you bitches can't fight, let me stop. Let me stop. So, is that my defending of the insights to understand service to others? Okay, I do act as a bridge. I forgot about that. I do act as a bridge in communication. That's why they named me Fifth. Okay, I remember. I remember. I know. I didn't forget. In any event, the mental aspect of accept the wisdom of what is good for us. This is where free will choice comes into place with a lot of things, with whether or not you accept the wisdom of what is good for us. What is good for humanities as we are making these different petitions, trying to get shit together. Yeah, it don't matter if the biggest thing that I've noticed is with me. My passion has always been African American people because they wanted to hide from us that some of us would constitute as higher order beings, right? Not everybody is going to be a god or a goddess. Not everybody is going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Everybody plays a part, but everybody is important and everybody has value, which is the reason why they put me in the positions they put me in. Me being a substitute teacher is just as important as the motherfucker who got a PhD and is in that classroom. Because when that motherfucker who got a PhD is in a classroom, when they're absent, they're sick, they have a death in the family, they have anything going on, you need that substitute teacher who knows how to break down everything it is that you want conveyed so that those students, those children, don't get knocked off. They're just as important. Same with a CNA. Being a CNA has always been very important because we're the first line of defense and we're important in regards to knowing how to tell whoever else is in the higher ups what's really going on with that patient. So when some people say, oh, all you get is these little low-level ass jobs. No, bitch, I get the important jobs. I'm that first line of defense to ensure that that next generation or that next person gets exactly what they need. Because if y'all don't remember, if you don't recall, especially in the medical field, the first motherfucker who get blamed is not the nurse. The first person who get blamed is not the doctor. The first person who get blamed is not the pharmacy. It's the CNA. Well, I told the CNA. I told the CNA that I needed new bags. I told the teacher that I didn't understand this. In any event, okay, I grab these cards instinctively, y'all go ahead. So accept the wisdom of what is good for us. Well, what I say is, in regard, you motherfuckers didn't accept me as a goddamn CNA. You didn't accept me as a substitute teacher. What difference would it make if I came to you as a life coach? You just, a lot of people just want those, yeah, just want me to step into those types of roles and titles so that they can have somebody to argue with. That's why I wouldn't be good at it. Because me as a CNA and me as a teacher, I didn't have to argue and go back and forth with motherfuckers. They trusted what I was saying. They trusted what I was saying, even if they didn't trust me, because they saw that it was proven that I was right several times over. I'm coming up on 2 hours. Let me get off here. Yeah, let me finish this out. Yeah, because I feel like I'm preaching. I'm feeling really preachy right now. And I wasn't, yeah, because I'm a woman, I wasn't able to be ordained as a minister. I was able to help motherfuckers get their shit, but I wasn't able to be ordained as one, or even collect funds, or to make sure that I would have the resources that were necessary. Because it was thought that I was in a relationship with a person, even though everyone knew that motherfucker wasn't doing shit for me. I said what I said. Y'all will be fine. It said, y'all will be fine. You needed evidence, you needed proof. Look around you. Alright. So, and some of this stuff is gonna be about projection magic. It's gonna be about what it is that you will be putting out there. Yeah, because in a lot of it, it'll be about the whole fire and brimstone aspect, what inspires an individual, and what will constitute. Oh, I just picked up on it. No, because what will constitute as a third party situation, one's faith could constitute as a third party situation. A message for you is the overall essence and the accept the wisdom of what is good for us. Yeah, in regards to like projection magic and all this other shit. Yeah, y'all like to do that a whole lot. But if it's in the creative aspect, yeah, it'll be about the bard and storytelling and when a person asks, and the trick that comes into place with, because they did this to me at Rooster. They'd ask one question, but it would be such a loaded question that it would have, yeah, that I would have to go really far into depth with you. That's the trickery that came into place with it. So that way they would, yeah, it's one of those, but I only asked one question. And it's one of those, yeah, that's how people would cheat and steal from you. That is. Well, yeah, because it's one of those, well, I only asked one question, so I will only have to give you $30. Or I will only have to give you $45. Or I will only have to give you, yeah. But the question would be relating to a past life situation, which means it's not, yeah, you don't owe just that $30, you will owe $300. Hey, don't you can call yourself outsmarting the person, but you can't outsmart the universe. A message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. Yeah, these came from the heart card. So in short, with knowing what's in your heart. Alright. In the Gang Sarah or within resistance. Beware of what you are projecting, for the qualities you admire in one another are qualities you both possess. Equally so, the qualities you don't like are also your own reflection. How do you handle things you don't like? Is pretty much what that boils down to. You can accept them as they are, and that will help transform things now, because transformation is coming into place. Now, because in the Transformers aspect, that's going to be talking about on the electrical aspect. Pay attention to some shit that will be going on in the electrical aspect. It is important right now to take a step back and spend some time alone instead of placing your focus on another. Now's the time to give to yourself. Yeah, the wisdom that comes into place with what's best for you versus, yeah, taking in a whole bunch of opinions and stuff like that. Oh my God. Transformation. Your relationship with one another is about to deepen, love conquers, and transforms all things. And last but not least, I heard, okay, in a love relationship, how another person's urgency is your urgency. Yeah. That's in a love and romantic relationships that will come into place. And these are the cards that are kind of coming to me with this. Let your feelings tell you how to result from the understanding of your work. Knowing what your work is. Okay, yeah, I got the animal cards in regards to this. Now, because it's not only going to be about the indigenous aspect, this is also going to be, it's not only going to be about the indigenous aspect, this is also going to be in regards to the spirit, whether you, yeah, what your spirit animal is, and if you're into alchemicalization, if you're trying to raise your vibration to a particular spirit, to a particular animal. Yeah, one of the things that was coming to me in regards to, yeah, and even if you are part of an organization where a particular type of animal is important and imperative, if you know within that organization how it translates over to a different heritage. Uh, yeah, cause in like hoodoo, voodoo, and Chinese cultures, snakes don't represent, and even in Hindu, snakes don't represent something bad, right? They represent healing, and even with Kundalini essence and all this other shit, snakes, yeah, they have a representation because it's a surge, it's one flow of essence. Their body, that's the reason why they're viewed that way. Yeah, it's a very practical application. So you got the elephant, you got the frog, you got the penguin, happy feet, you got the penguin, you got the white stag, and you have the unicorn. You have the unicorn. Elephant greatness. Love is your strength. Leadership is your path. Your wisdom inspires everyone you meet. You can overcome any problem. You will naturally and easily achieve success. Frog. Let go of the past and embrace change. Opportunities are close at hand. Hop into this new day with joy, abundance, and good fortune await you. Reach out to your tribe in times of need. Family gives you strength when you face the storm. Love your uniqueness. You are full of surprises. Break free from others' expectations. Just be yourself. It can be hard when family proves that they're not your family, or people that you call family aren't family to you. You are an old soul. White stag protector. You are an old soul. Your best friend is nature. Use your intuition to take you where you want to go. Awaken to the powerful force within you. You are meant to create blessings with your magic. And unicorn, infinite possibilities. I don't get this one that often. You are the sovereign of the seen and unseen worlds. The magic of love surrounds you. Beauty transforms you. Listen to the spirits of light. Abandon the darkness. Go beyond the ordinary and become the legendary. Overall essence of grizzly bear, right? I am undestructible. I honor my intuition, and where it leads, love and gentleness are my real strength. I never give up. I will succeed. Okay, and remember I was talking about that fish. That fish is in this grizzly bear aspect. It's in the grizzly bear aspect. And so, I don't know how much time I got left. Um, in this grizzly bear aspect, how a bear, it's a movie. It's a kid's, yeah, it's like a kid's movie. Over the hedge. I think that's what it is. How the bear got a likingness to human food. So it abandoned its natural way of hunting and finding food and stuff like that. Yeah. So I hope that helped y'all out just a little bit. Gave you a tad bit of an inclination as to a few different things it is that will be going on. Yeah, I got damn, there's 3 of these cards too. Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Yeah, with what it is that one would trust or couldn't trust. The situation is calling you to have faith. Yeah, the incoming trust and the attraction. You attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. One of the things that I've noticed that definitely happens with the red flag situation, yeah, sometimes a stoplight. Stoplight is one of them. If you wearing some clothes that will have a red flag on it, yeah, and that boils down to if you're a literal person, literally versus figuratively. When you notice red flags in certain situations, her, can you say something about that before you go out? Yeah, absolutely. Because the whole the mind control situation, and people trying to tell, oh, you don't have faith in this. Okay, well, typically when it comes to certain shit, yeah, for me, I don't know about other people, right? But for me, uh, I personally, I have faith in the divine with situations, but I also lost a lot of faith on the humanitarian scale because I notice people have free will choices. And typically, regardless of spell work or not, they opt to go against what I would have prayed for to happen. Like for instance, no, I'm just saying, if I've been praying, oh Lord, I need some new contact solution. We'll just use it. I need some new contact solution. Lord, please just let me get some new contact solution. Right? Well, it'll be another person who would be like, yeah, and I would go to a person and be like, can you help me with getting some contact solution, right? Well, that person will be like, yeah, for however they feel. Oh no, I don't want to give it to you. You only need this for some contact solution. I don't even like that you wear contacts. Why would I help you with furthering what you like opposed to what I'm not gonna help you with it. Another thing, yeah, because I'm seeing this happen with gentlemen a whole lot. Yeah, pay grades, I guess. The reality is, it doesn't matter what type of woman you get with. You have to invest in her. That's something that you're going to have to do. That's a part of you being a man. But she's also supposed to invest in you. Right? Yeah, now if you notice right off the bat that she's not going to be able to reciprocate to the extent that you would like, okay then, that's where there's a problem. Yeah, that's where it constitutes as a bad investment. She only wants you there for the money, and yeah, the whole exchange is sexual favors. Technically, that is reciprocation. But if that's not what you really need is somebody to hold you, for lack of better phrasing, and just listen to you talk. Do you give money for that as well? Because a lot of men, y'all don't. I'm just saying. I'm just fucking saying. Because when the few people who did actually just sit and talk with me, yeah, like when I was at Mission St. Louis, some of them did just come and sit and talk with me. But it was also under the premise and the guise that I would be able to receive funds later on for me to have a place to stay. I sat and I listened and I helped with all of that shit. But I never received the funds so that I can get a place to stay. They figure I should be taken care of because of a lie that somebody else told. In short, the obligation was whether I was to talk to them or not, or do these readings or not, was that I got a place to stay. and they ensured that they completed their shit out. They didn't complete it. To keep summoning my ass there. It's one of those, no, we're not doing this. You're not going to fulfill your part of it. In short, that's a red flag. Them shits be a red flag. That be the reason why, again, if this wasn't an offering, this didn't constitute as a, because I was trying to figure out, I'm closing out, y'all. I'll give y'all my closing thoughts. If I, no, because in that regard, y'all, I'm grateful to Black Wish Yaya. That's why I do support her. Because she gave me understanding as to why it is I even keep still doing these readings. Regardless of what goes on. She's the only reason. And even in that regard, yes, I have donated to her. And I have, when I get it, I do make sure I do send her something. Because I had, right before she did this particular story time that she did, I had sat with Spirit and I was like, why do I keep doing these readings? Why am I keep doing these readings when I know people are using me? I know people are stealing from me. I know people are intentionally hurting me. I know, in so many different ways. Why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? And the first portion that I got in Spirit was because it's the right thing to do. Okay, well, why is this the right thing to do? Because if it's the right thing to do, I understand getting a little bit of pushback, but damn, this is ridiculous. And then she made the post. She did the story time with it being an offering to Aromala and Bilal, and it's even offering to them to deliver the messages. The African gods and goddesses, the white gods and gods, it's an offering to them. So within it being an offering to them, it's one of those, that's why I haven't been able, why I have to consult them before I don't do it at all on like a public platform to any capacity. Yeah, because people just think they could just learn the cards and that's all it is to it. No. And then you'll get some smart aleck people who will be like, oh, you missed the, some were called, some were sent, and some were chosen. Girl. Yeah. You have to receive the call that they would have sent out in order for it to be acknowledged that you're chosen. I'm not going there. I am not going there. Light and love to y'all though, okay? Light and love to y'all. I hope y'all have a good day. Happy Sunday Fun Day. I hope I could change the title on here. Happy Sunday Fun Day. The best way to start with, with your healing would be to forgive yourself. And don't be egotistical in the situation of, I forgave myself for that. Okay, well, sometimes you got to forgive yourself numerous times. Because I have to forgive myself when I get angry over the same shit. I have to forgive myself for this. One of those, you got real angry over this. And you should not have got, you don't even need to get angry over it. When when certain shit just happens, it just happens. Alright, light and love to y'all, okay? Because see, remember, like work, it ain't like work. It is not like work. It's not like work. And that's why you have to stay like while you work. Yes, I'm sure I want to stop streaming.